shall not speculate. We all know who's going to be the winner, and I am the planet of death after all.
Out of the castle into the forest, the deep, dark forest.
Uncle Saturn is here, so listen up, children. It's time to get real.
Did somebody call a doctor? Yes. Let me take a look here.
Why so serious, everyone? Why so serious? Really? It's all just a mad experiment, isn't it, life?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the new Paradigm Astrology Halloween Extravaganza. Yes, indeed, we are going to start off our spooky evening with our good friend Pluto. Everyone, welcome Pluto.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this tour the haunted house. We have the pleasure of having with us several of the other planets. Now, not of course everyone. We couldn't have everyone. There's always somebody who's not invited. Normally that's me, Pluto, but today I managed to sneak in, probably because I'm about to take on a major part in the global drama. And it's time for me to really show what it means to transform, to change. These are dark times, I'm aware of this. It's not the happiest hour of Earth. We are overpopulated, and it is bringing out the ugliest side of humanity. Greed was always there. Greed was always there. Our history is full of it. But today, it's even easier to be triggered on these very special dark aspects of our psyche. And it's taking us away from the love that we're all waiting for. But today, we are not going to talk about love. We're going to talk about death. That's much more fun, I think, because death is change. And it's not every day we talk about death, no. Most of the times we stay gently on the surface and we go, how are you? I'm fine. How are you? I'm great. Now, me, Pluto, I'm not into that kind of chit-chat and small talk. We all know that. I'm into the deep issues, the one that goes underneath. So today I brought with me Jupiter in Scorpio. Finally, I'll have a companion, somebody to dance along with, fueling up the drama. Saturn, my best buddy actually, if I have a friend, it must be Saturn, is going into Capricorn very, very soon. And there, together, we're gonna rock hard like it's 1999 up until 2020, when we're gonna join hands together with Jupiter, and it's going to be this bonanza of transformational change, changing history just a little bit. It isn't always easy to introduce humanity to change, and I understand this, but believe me, we are here on the third rock of something. We're not quite sure where we are, but we are somewhere in deep space. And it is hard to survive. It is. There are cold winters, there are hot summers, there are hurricanes and tornadoes. And death, my friends, me, I'm always around. I'm the invisible buddy that you don't like. I'm the one who can suddenly erupt out of nowhere and take away those you love the most. No wonder I'm uninvited. They even made me a dwarf planet, which I really don't mind because I'm much better incognito than out in the open. I'm the one peeking through every veil, every lie, and everything that is hidden. And I entered into Capricorn in 2008. I thought, wow, last time I was in Capricorn, we had the creation of the United States. There was a big, massive change of power on planet Earth, and I was mighty happy with what was happening. I really had faith in this new nation. I thought, here we go. Now it's youth. And it is. It's youthful. It has sprung up like a flower, and it's embodied in throughout our world. Elvis is a global phenomenon, in other words, so the culture has been extremely popular. But the problem was, as it always is, it's history. Now, as I go through the sign of history, I also churn around to see what did history do to us? What are we still struggling with? And these patterns are very alive. Old imperialism, for instance, old forms of slavery. We still have slavery on Earth, it's just a little bit hidden. Where do you think your iPhone comes from? I'm not saying this to give you guilt. We already have enough guilt. We have so much guilt on this planet, we could probably share it with another planet. So I'm not trying to do that. No, that's like the danger zone of today. It's like the little guy is taking responsibility for the big guy in hopes of change. So how do we deal with these massive forces? How do we deal with our history of abuse, of being the abused and to abuse? We abuse ourselves and we abuse someone else. That's the problem. How do we use energy? And Pluto, well, I'm all about finding true power. I like that word, true power, not the fake power, the true power. True love, true faith, true strength, not compensations. So how do you change in a world of abuse? How can you become free of these incredible patterns of abuse? How will you manage to set your soul free in a world that is darkened by the Kali Yuga, furthest away from the source of the sun, far into the darkness, into the material world, where there is no spiritual principles we can talk aloud about, where everyone thinks death is the final stop? Well, take it from me, I really know that's not the truth. But it's scaring us, it's scaring you, it's scaring everyone into accepting the slavery. Yes, that's it. So how do you free yourself in the world of abuse? Maybe as I go through the last decanate of Capricorn and I cross some powerful planetary nodes, you will figure out how to free yourself of everything that has expired. Life is a constant cycle of death and rejuvenation. Something is vivid and something is alive and something is right at one particular moment. But then, after a while, it dies. There is no more inspiration to do anything. There's stagnation. And I've done quite a lot during my time. I've been around some of the biggest dramas of human history, and I think I might get this one too, actually. There's overpopulation thing and the corporate powers problem and the corruptions, all these things I've been tearing apart little by little. Yes, I'm the one who's dragging in this inconvenient conversation. We were talking about the weather and here you come, Pluto, talking about some crazy shit that I can't do anything about anyway. Oh, you can't? Really? Really, really, really? You can't? Oh, I don't know. I think you're deluding yourself. I think you can. I think there's greater powers within you than you imagined. I think your soul is brilliant. It's a shining light of magnetic, electric power. And through this soul, you can realize your true potential, even in a world that is full of abuse. Yes, you can find true love on this planet, but you have to let go. of the collective thought patterns that are always triggering us into dependencies, into everything that is taking us away from the light. This is my hope. And today we're celebrating death. Maybe it's time to be a little bit more friendly with death, huh? It's not the final frontier for anyone. We'll ask Jupiter in Scorpio right now. What do you think, Jupiter? What do you say? What's up over there in Scorpio? I wonder if he's there, huh? Woohoo! Jupiter!
Yeah. Oh, yes, I am here, my good brother Pluto. Indeed, I am excited now to be entering your realm of the underworld, to go down into the dark, into that sign of Scorpio for a year of expanding power, of really facing the dark, of facing our fears, of where we are afraid to go, coming out of our safe little castles, of our safe little families and houses and jobs, out of the castle into the forest, the deep, dark forest, where there are many things hiding, many dangers awaiting. Anything could snap out from behind a tree, behind a bush, a dragon, a monster, anything, anyone. And there you are during this time, small, little, alone, vulnerable, but out there in the jungle, out there in the forest, lies the fruits, the riches, the waters. The soil is rich and fertile, and I am the principle of fertility, abundance, prosperity, more. This is a time, a year of more power. How do we obtain, gain that power? It is through facing our fears. The first fear is the fear of death itself. And then comes the fear, the loss of my pride, of my money, of my safety, of my possessions, of my security. But it is through the risking. This is a time of trusting the other. This is a time of opening. I say, Jupiter, open the doors to the other. Allow the other in. There is great prosperity and abundance awaiting those who are not afraid to open the door, who are solid within themselves, safe within their truth, to witness, to deal with, and to merge together and unite with these powerful forces from the forest. It is time now not to fear the dragon, but to tame the dragon. It is time now not to fear the relationship, but to enter into the relationship. It is time now not to fear the banks or Mother Nature, but to go into the banks and borrow, loan, receive. This is even a time of great inheritance, for many shall be passing. Many shall discarnate and leave our planet. And they leave behind energy, riches, all that they have learned and brought forward for us. So indeed, if you do remain in fear, you too shall be the prey of a more powerful predator. Do not allow the dragon to slay you, to eat you. Do not hide in your house, under your bed, inside yourself. Do not run away to your safety of your cave, but come out and face the dragon. Come out and face the other. And if you can, if you are the one who is able to rise above their fears, you will gain insights into the mysteries behind life and death. This is a year of expanding our understanding, of letting go of our ego, of letting go of our little third dimensional view of ourselves in the world, and to expand out beyond the veil. So yes, in a way, it is the death of the old. It is the death of fear, of our old childish, insecure patterns from mom, dad, childhood, past lives. It's time to release and die to our old selves that want to protect and maintain and be the big star of the show. It's time to gain through sharing, through uniting, through merging, for we are all more powerful together than any of us are alone. We are more powerful when we unite than any of us standing by ourselves. Join the dance of creation. Transcend your fears of protection, death, loss, grief, and come into the dark, come in to the forest and receive the juices, the life force, the sexual energy, the chi, the kundalini force, the dragon. Nothing is more powerful than you as you tame the dragons. So now, through this year, trust yourself, and you will be able to trust the other. And you will be able to leave your door open to receive the riches and the bounty that I, Jupiter, the king of Mount Olympus, the god of all abundance and fertility, wish to give to you through unity consciousness. This is what I bring to planet Earth, Pluto. Together, we bring people out of their shells to transform into more powerful, beautiful, wizened beings. My grace to you, good brother Pluto.
Thank you,
Farewell for
brother.
now.
And farewell for now. That was poetry for my soul. I feel quite enthusiased now. I was starting out a little gloomy, but after my dear brother came with his marvelous inspirations, I feel not so much alone in this transformative work that we all are going through. Yes, it can be a great Halloween. I think so. Many people will find themselves be wounded of ancient historic problems. I think so. Now let me turn to my other brother, Saturn. Saturn, my dear Saturn is coming into Capricorn very soon. I wonder if there's any help to be gained from this, well, often misunderstood creature called Saturn. We tend to get into a little fight from time to time. Saturn, are you there, by the way? Saturn? Oh, whoa. Hello? I don't know. Often very sleepy, right? Are you awake? Hello? Saturn? Oh. Ooh, I think something's happening.
What are you doing here? You have an appointment? Oh, always being disturbed. I can never, ever, ever get any sleep. One thing after another. Well, I heard that Jupiter was talking more nonsense about joy and about love and about money and no. Well, that's Jupiter, and I wouldn't even listen to any of that because Uncle Saturn is here to give you a dose of reality. So listen up, children. It's time to get real. So, as you know, if you've been paying attention, Saturn is coming home. Coming home to my home, Capricorn. And it's about time. It's been a long 29 years and I feel it in my bones. And this last one, oof, hasn't been a damn walk in the park. And I know what you've been saying about me. I hear everything. That I'm mean, that I'm a snob, and that I kill people. Well, that's not exactly true. I only kill the losers. Everyone else I just hate. And now this being in Sagittarius, this last year or so has been an absolute yawn fest of losers. All this racism and fascism and righteousness. I mean, it is just a snooze fest. And all this ugly whining and crying, and I'm not having any of it. And they're saying protesting is the new brunch. You like that, right, you brunchers? Well, now that I'm moving into my home of Capricorn, no more brunching. Brunching is for losers. And no more pink pussy hats or nothing pink. None of that fluffiness. All those ideals and philosophies and all that Sagittarian hope and joy and vision of the future. All right, it's time to cut the crap. I can't wait to be out of Sagittarius, and in December, I'm coming home. And you know who it is I really been just really hate these past couple of years has been those spiritual bypassers. You know, the ones with all the love and light and the fluffy clouds meditation and all the blah, blah, blah. God, I had so much fun calling them out. I'm like a highway patrolman, to those spiritual bypassers, telling them to pull over and get out of the car and show some ID and get out and walk on foot, just like Jesus. Yeah, I'm done with them. Done with all of that. In Capricorn, you know, Capricorn is all about 3 things: ambition, work, and failure. Actually, it's mostly about failure. You know, your spouse is going to fail you, your boss is going to fail you, your kids are going to fail you, your friends will fail you. Hell, even your dog's going to fail you. So get used to it. And you remember when you were a child and your mother said that you were a failure, you never amount to anything? Well, it's kind of like that. Even if you're not, even if you're perfectly successful and happy and beautiful, you're going to feel tired and old and ugly and broke. Just like Uncle Saturn. You'll be in a room with nothing but some fire and a clock. Just because it's nice to tell time, you know. But as they say, there's always a silver lining, right, to everything. And the silver lining of Saturn and Capricorn is actually no, there's no silver lining. It's just more work, more burdens, and then failure. Now, for those few of you that are not total losers, and I'm talking to those Capricorns out there, it's going to be tough for you too. But your ambition may get you through. You may get up a couple mountaintops, but there's always going to be more to burden, more to climb, more heavy lifting, more hard work. But as you know, with Saturn, you reap what you sow. So it's important that you know what you're sowing. Because Saturn in Capricorn is a time of reckoning. So whatever you've planted in your garden for these past 29 years, whether it's a bed of roses, whether it's a bed of weeds and lies, or a dead, decaying body of your formerly nosy neighbor who's been watching all your dirty deeds, well, you're gonna face a reckoning. So be sure you know what it is that's coming up from that garden, what you're gonna be reaping that you've sown. But what you may not know about me is I'm a planet of transformation. So it's not just Pluto. Now, Pluto, the truth is Pluto is metamorphosis. Now that's different. Metamorphosis is like when that gross little worm just like melts all into goo and then turns all into this butterfly and then completely transforms and it's all love and light and all that yada yada. No. That's Pluto. Saturn is about doing the hard work. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And ultimately, Saturn is about strength. Saturn is being the boss. Saturn is being at the top of that mountain that you work so hard to climb and breathing that rarefied air that only the strong that survive can breathe. Ah, yes. But at this very moment, I'm up here all alone, the only one that's special, with some candles and a clock and my scythe. None of you are strong enough to make it. But if you listen and you heed the time that it's time to grow up and it's time to be an adult It's time for responsibility. Then, by golly, with Saturn, myself in my home, my strength, my full groundedness and power, we just might see each other up on that mountaintop. So now, the other thing is, Pluto, that badass Pluto, is going to be answering to me. So when I come home and I see the mess that Pluto has made in my home, well, there's going to be hell to pay, and only the stronger one will survive. And so that is to come. So you better mark your calendars for 2020 when Pluto meets me, and we're going to have a TKO, fight to the death. But that's enough for now. I think I've gone on long enough. And I'm tired. And I've got some reckoning to attend to. So, peace out, fools.
Now, I was of the opinion that I was the party pooper of this planetary family, but I guess I was wrong. I think Saturn is definitely, well, that's why Saturn is my friend, I guess. That was quite invigorating, I think. Yes. However, the battle between Saturn and Pluto, well, I shall not speculate. We all know who's going to be the winner, and I am the planet of death after all. Now, where were we? I was getting really enthusiased about the prospect of humanity actually growing up. That would be marvelous, right? Because we all know that Capricorn is all about true responsibility. True responsibility. What does it mean? Does it mean to take responsibility for somebody who's incredibly codependent, or somebody who's unable to walk on their own? Yeah, well, it depends. We don't know. We're confused about this compassion thing, and maybe Chiron can help us. We don't know. Chiron is very good with compassion and understanding, acceptance and illness, stuff that Saturn has no patience for at all. So I think we'll knock on Chiron's door to see what is going on. Chiron, dear Chiron, you're moving into Aries right now. What's up? Any good news?
Did somebody call a doctor? Yes. Let me take a look here. All right. Yes. We need some healing. Do we need to have some things removed? Do we have maybe some discrepancy about who we are or what we're doing? Got some things clogging the soul? Well, let's take a look here. All right, let's get to work. Now, the way that I tend to function is to bring the things that are clogging your system up to the surface here. And I need some protection here. It can get a little messy. Pluto and Saturn aren't the only ones to get their hands dirty, so gotta be prepared here. All right, let's take a look now. Oh, I'm just kidding. Yes, Chiron has a sense of humor too. No reason to be afraid. I promise that this won't hurt. Okay, it actually might hurt a little bit, but let's go on. Let's see here. Oh, I'm detecting some fear. What are you so afraid of? What are you afraid of? Oh, what's this? Oh, is this the big bad wolf here? You afraid of this guy? Well, take a good clean look. Here's the big bad wolf. Here's your fear. Yes, it's not so scary when you look at it in the face, is it? All right, so let's just, we'll get rid of this and we'll move on. All right, let's see here. I got a lot of dust in here, jeez. We've got to bring in some transformative action these days. I think we need to stir things up a little bit. Let's see, we got some guilt, some inadequacy, blocking you. What's this? You wearing some shaded mask? Oh, that's not going to help. There's no need to be inadequate. There's nothing to feel guilty or ashamed of. What are you into? Oh, You feel guilty about this? Are you serious? Come on. We've all got cellular memories. You might as well have a little bit of fun with some of the darker ones, I guess. I mean, we've all got to spend some time in our shadow in order to overcome our fears and actualize our God-given potential, yes? And I think that we've suffered a bit of a collective amnesia this last several thousands of years. So let's talk about it. Step into my office. So I have been transiting the sign of Pisces since 2010. This has been 7 years of digging up and bringing to the surface collective wounds, collective situations, where we have all been very much strung along and dragged under by the world, by our collective history. It's not always a choice. We're born into these situations. And guess what? Saturn is square to me next week, November 2nd, a couple weeks. This is the time to getting down to business with some of these collective wounds. I see that we've all suffered a little bit of the victimization disease. We all seem to be victims in today's day and age. You're a victim because you're a woman living in a man's world. You're a victim because you're a man and you have to be tough and rough. And you're a victim because you live in America. You're a victim because you don't live in America. You're a victim because you're a Christian. You're a victim because you're a Wiccan, so on and so forth. And we're all victims in this day and age. We've all been victimized. We've all been thrown under the bus. And we can all very easily identify with the victim role, sort of being like a leaf blown around in the wind of our surrounding world, collective beliefs. And we have this notion that we're born here and we need to fix everything. And that's sort of my job, is to bring us into our healing potential by making the adjustments needed in order to be clear about who we are and our salt and our depth. And so obviously I'm a bit of an impersonator of the Chiron archetype. If Chiron were to actually show up in the room, all of our hearts would just instantly explode with love, because Chiron is this profound initiator into our heart's depths, being that we are all medicine men and women in this day and age. But I'm looking out there in the world and I'm seeing people not really being so certain that they are in fact a medicine man or a medicine woman. And so we're waiting around for somebody to help us. We're calling the doctor. We're waiting for a savior. We're waiting for an ascension date to come and sweep us into the new dimension, the new world, the new paradigm. And guess what? I'm going to remind you of who you actually are. You're the doctor. I'm just an impersonator here, putting on a funny show. And when I move into Aries next year, well, this is going to begin a 7-year transit that is really healing and awakening our own God-given individual willpower, so we can start to heal ourselves and come back into our own power. Now, Chiron symbolically represents the anaretic degree, which is the final degree of any zodiac sign. And it's a point, a critical point in which transcendence must occur. We must evolve to the next level. And as Chiron comes up to the very end of Pisces, this is the completion of a fundamental cycle. And the Chiron orbit is 50 years. So we're talking about a 50-year death and rebirth. And what we are rebirthing here is our own healing journey. We are resetting the direction of our own healing journey. And as Chiron moves into Aries, it's really about us healing our capability to initiate new patterns. These next several years with these big bad guys, Pluto and Saturn and Jupiter, they're going to be pushing us around and they're going to be knocking stuff down. And that's going to remind us of what it really means to be a human being, of what work is really needed in this day and age. And it's going to give us an opportunity to get back on track with our God-given healing journey, which is different for each and every one of us. And so we're all victims in this day and age. How do we turn this story around? By recognizing that the story that made you into a victim is the initiation into your being a medicine man or woman. And so as Saturn completes its year-long transit of squaring me November 2nd, And we are reviewing all of the things that have been inflicted upon us by our world, by outsiders, by authorities, by rules, regulations. It's not about us playing the victim card. It's not about this story that this is just the way it is, and this is just the card that we were dealt. And so we give up and we go down and we sacrifice and throw ourselves under. This is about being inspired by those things. It's not always an easy life. I'm not always the planet that comes around and necessarily makes you feel super good, but I am the planet that comes around and is going to shake and remove all of the clutter that is preventing you from actualizing your own spiritual journey, which is your journey of ending being a victim. How are you going to come into your power and your glory? By turning around the story that was inflicted upon you, by you coming into your power to rewrite the story, to make your own patterns, and to come into the world as spiritual warriors. And so as Chiron is going back and forth over the final degree of Pisces, the beginning of Aries, the beginning of a new fundamental cycle, there is the opportunity for us to really come into us being spiritual warriors, us accepting that this is our nature, accepting that life isn't always easy, because life is about initiating ourselves into our transcendental power. So we're not afraid of the big bad wolf. We're not afraid of guilt. We're not afraid of Pluto or Jupiter or Saturn and change. We can invite these things into our life as being the tools, the mechanisms, the seasons of nature that bring us into deeper and deeper, more meaningful and significant lives by coming into the potency of your soul as a healer. And so don't just go to the doctor and the healer and the astrologer and the medicine woman outside of yourself. Start to recognize how these things are bringing you into your own story, your own truth of discovering your own tools to provide healing back into the world. And that's the way to feel a sense of deep purpose and meaning in the world. And so don't forget the profound Chiron, but have a happy Halloween and I'll see you later. Okay.
Oh, boy, I'm really happy they discovered Chiron. By the way, congratulations, Chiron. You're 40 years old around this time. 40 years it took humanity to marinate in this wisdom, and now already we're showing results. Yes, 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 it's not so gloomy as I thought. It's not so gloomy as I thought. We shall not forget that Capricorn, as Saturn so gently or not so gently reminded us, it's the sign of those who are willing to walk and not give up. Yes, we can show you the door, but alas, you have to open it yourself. And I guess Chiron and Aries will show us exactly what that means, along with the rest of us. This planetary juice it's turning into quite the cocktail, but we still have another player we haven't visited yet. There's still yet one room in our house. I'm a little reluctant to open it because that's pure madness inside, but we'll have to open it. This is one of my really, really close ones. And, well, Uranus brought craziness into the world before and will bring craziness into the world again. And some geniuses. Pretty many of them, actually. Although a little spacey, they are really contributing to humanity. And by all means, looking out my window, I see we really need that. Now, Uranus, are you there? We would love to talk to you, please.
Are you calling me crazy?
Just a little.
Pluto, you take things so seriously. Why so serious, everyone? Why so serious? Really? It's all just a mad experiment, isn't it, life? It's just a mad experiment. We're just testing the waters. We're finding out what's going on. We're trying a little bit of this and we're trying a little bit of that. It's not that serious, everyone. But here's the thing. You might think I'm crazy. You might think I'm mad. You might think I'm a genius. You might think I'm detached and cold. But the truth about it is my genius, my coldness is revealing the truth in everything. I like to break shit. What can I say? I can't help myself. I see a problem, I break it apart, figure out what's going on, and I give you the tools to rebuild a brand new genius invention. So I've been with you for a while. I'm with you all the time, but I've been with you in Aries. Yeah? Aries. What's your identity, people? I'm breaking it down. I've been breaking it down. What's your nation? What are you as a humanity? You want to call yourself an American. You want to call yourself a Brit. You want to call yourself this, but what are borders anymore? I've broken them. I've broken the identities. And now I'm about to get dirty. Dirty. I'm going to get into the earth and start breaking some shit. Yep, that's what I do. There's problems on Mother Earth right now. We know that. This is not a sustainable system we've been building. It doesn't work. It's not gonna work. So I'm gonna break it apart. I'm starting to wake everyone up, right? I've got tornadoes going. Yeah, I've got floods coming. I've got all kinds of systems breaking down on the earth so you can innovate new. Find the genius in what's no longer working. Where are you going to get the water if you keep poisoning it? Huh? How are you going to grow the crops if there's no water? How will we feed and sustain ourselves? I need to break some things so you can find out. When it comes to Taurus, it's all about what you can see, taste, touch, and feel. It's the sensual world that is Taurus. It's security, it's safety, it's money. It don't work. The banks don't work, we know that. Let's get rid of them. Let's build a new currency. Originally, currency was rock, and we traded a rock. And then we started trading tomatoes. And then we started trading big coins. We've traded paper, and we've been trading energy. Currency is changing form. Money, security, it's changing. Not to be afraid of. Let's just break it down. The flaws of the system, the flaws of our inadequacies as humans. Let's break it. Let's get dirty. Might I remind you, the last time I was in Taurus, we experienced a Great Depression. We experienced the World War II era. And we experienced the Dust Bowl. And what I did is I broke apart it all. The money with the Great Depression, gone. You know, agriculture as we knew it, gone. No food, famine, war, slaughter of humans, humanity, gone. But guess what we found in the nugget of that total breakdown? We found new agricultural systems. We found new ways of producing and understanding food. Now, I don't know if we got it right, but here's a chance to get it right another time. What would happen if we grew plants in different colors of light? What would happen if we built different types of greenhouses and could grow things with a different type of soil? Maybe food can be better than it's ever been before. Have you thought of that? Haha, I'm the Uranus. I think beyond all you people. I'm well advanced. I understand technology is big and endless. And as the world stands today is not as the world will always be. I break down your beliefs of structure. So while Pluto and Saturn and Jupiter are going to do their best to build a new structure and take them, I'm going to, underlining, continue to break it down. Building, breaking, building, breaking. Let's start a new system. We must. If we want to survive, let's find our genius. What was the genius of the World War II era? Well, we got the UN, nations coming together to work together. Now, there's not been some great things from that, but there's been some other amazing innovations from that. What did we get from the Great Depression? A new banking system. But it's not working anymore. We know that. And so while you might think I'm crazy and while you might think I'm mad, I break down shit so you can break through something new. You know, there's a lot of doom and gloom coming from these Scorpio characters right now. It's sad, it's scary, it's all of those things. But I invite you to pull out and watch it like a mad scientist. It's not that serious. It's not that big of a deal. Earth continues to change and evolve all the time. The genius of Uranus and Aquarius, my ruler, is that you can observe it from a place that sees it as an experiment. Life is simply an experiment. And as we fail and fall on our face, as we really have done recently in humanity, we have the chance to learn from those failures, to find innovation and genius and move and evolve to different planets. We crossed an ocean. Think about that. Humans are so innovative, they learned how to cross an ocean. They've learned to cross into the ocean, to discover and out into outer space, my hometown. We will continue to evolve as a species come hell or high water. It's not so scary. It's just change. It's fun. Keeps life exciting. So hold on to your britches. It's about to be a wild, fun, amazing, mind-blowing, innovative, and creative time ahead.
I think I just learned something, which is quite rare for me, actually. I think I know it all, and I do know quite a lot, though, but that was interesting. There's going to be so much Earth, so much Earth. It's bound to be a more realistic time than we're coming out of with this air, fire thing. Everything's in the head. Now it's probably time to get a little dirty, huh? And I like the message. I like the message of true empowerment. Like, humanity is about to grow up, and it's not a bad thing, right? It's not a bad thing. Growing up is liberty. Growing up is opportunity. Growing up is freedom. Whenever you realize that your true soul, that you have one, you have so many options. There will be no starvation. There will be no repetition. Although history, this big cycle of history, it's churning and churning. And we see now we're back at the times of World War II. Yeah, we've been for a while, actually. And it's kind of creepy. You see the brown energies crossing, not just Europe. Oh no, we found another enemy now. So maybe, as Uranus says, maybe it's time to detach a little bit. Detach a little bit. In between the periods of this Platonic drama that we also have to go through, the exorcism, the purification, the letting go, the transformation, the metamorphosis into this flying energy. Yes, we think Saturn is heavy. Actually, if you throw Saturn on water, it will float. Everything is light. Everything is light, even death. There is no thing outside of life. When that happens, well, there's nothing. Then we're back to the nothingness again. And then it doesn't really matter because then everything is one anyway. But yes, it is scary. It is scary for most of earthlings. It's scary. And it's contagious, this fear. You just talk to your neighbor and then you thought, oh, yeah, now I'm worried too. Everything is so contagious, right? Emotions, thoughts, everything. Everything is contagious. And maybe that if you have a fuller contact with your soul, you won't be so easily invaded. That's growing up. That is growing up. That is taking full responsibility of your life, taking full responsibility of the one you are in the big body of everything. Now, if one cell works well, it's easier for the others to function well as well. Instead of this cancerous state that sometimes spreads across the globe, where we're all poisoned by the dark side, that's disempowerment. And sometimes I get the feeling that, the 1%, the famous 1%, thanks to Pluto in Capricorn, we now have something called the famous 1%. We didn't know about that shit before, but now we know. There is 1% owning 99% of the world's total fortunes. Strange, huh? We thought we came somewhere and now that's happening right in front of people's faces, right? But still, now we know. You know. And I think with coming times, as Uranus said, nothing is better for humanity as a little crisis. If it's too big, the crisis, well, then we just implode and we don't know what to do. But if the crisis is just the right amount, we get exactly enough food for growth. We get exactly enough food for our evolution. We get exactly the right kind of stimulants to change, to create new things, new food to eat, new ways to be in relationships, a bigger understanding of love and solidarity. Now, we didn't invite Neptune in Pisces, but I'm sure if Neptune in Pisces was here, Neptune in Pisces, I mean, well, sometimes it's a little hard to get a hold of. I mean, there's this certain escapism with this particular Neptune fella. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. But if Neptune was here, he would say, unity, my friend, unity and oneness is where we're heading towards. It might not seem so due to the crises, but that's where we're going eventually. And we start by becoming friends with ourselves. And then we truly become friends with our neighbors. And then we become friends with the next neighborhood. And then we become friends with the next village. We become friends with the next part of the country. South become friends with North. West become friends with East. And the body stops fighting itself. I may be full of vision and hope now, but that's the path. It's destruction or not. We have the choice. There's only two choices, fear or love. And you might think that I am fear, but Pluto is love. True love, not the fake kind of love, not the phony friends that leaves you when you're ill. No, forget those. That's just fake. No, I mean the real deal. The real deal. So I'm quite excited. I like being in Capricorn. I really like it. Now, our beautiful guests have also had some questions. Yes. Since I'm in Capricorn, I decided to take on the responsibility of being the perfect host. So I will now check what it is we have of questions. Now, please, people, if you have questions to some of the planets, do not hesitate to ask them. Now, let me see here, my friends. Chiron, are you awake? You didn't fall asleep, did you? I mean, you're still in Pisces, right?
It's been a long shift, but
Oh
yes.
my God, yes, you're working twice for everyone. I know. Well, that's your nature. Now, Nico. Hey, Chiron! Exclamation mark. What are your plans for acting and healing in Aries? And thanks for all the Pisces healing. Great job. Somebody's really happy with you in Pisces. Maybe you should just stay there, huh? I don't know. So what's your plans for Chiron, huh?
In Aries, it's
Yes.
a big shift from the collective Pisces, the ingrained beliefs that we sort of all merge with, just being born into this world. This is Pisces. And we're coming into Aries, which is really healing the individual. The healing journey is going to take on a new cycle, and it's becoming personal. It's becoming individualized, and it's about healing your willpower to be able to initiate your own direction, initiate new patterns. And this is happening simultaneously with all of the Pluto, Jupiter, Saturn conjunction at late 2020. Chiron is going to reach his aphelion in 2021, where he's furthest from the sun. He moves very slow through Aries. It's an 8-year transit. And it's very much about us, similar with all the Pluto, Jupiter stuff happening simultaneously. This is like starting from ground one. It's a new cycle of healing. It's rebuilding our identity, our purpose in life, and it's really taking a new course in a new direction. The difference is it's really coming from our own personal, individual desires and truth.
All right. So more like, well, sounds like something I can dig, like the more authentic vibe, like being you, and that's healing in itself, right? Sounds great. Thank you very much. All right, Saturn. You get a little complaints here. I'm sorry. Well, it's quite understandable too. You know, me and you, we can be pretty rough on people, but you know, I know it's a painful job, but somebody has to do it. That's it, you know. So Saturn, why have you been so mean to me? I can't wait till you leave my Sagittarius moon, from Nita. I don't know, is that a question? It's just a statement. It's just a complaint, darling. You have nothing to say to this. I'm sorry.
Oh, I know her very well.
Oh, you do. All right, okay.
And she has been quite naughty. She needed a Saturn-style spanking.
Yep.
And what happens when Saturn sits right on that moon of yours and clamps down on that moon, making you feel all alone, insecure, uncared for? That's when it's time for you to fall back on yourself and find your own strength and find your own nurturing and nourishment. And in Sagittarius, you know, Sagittarius can get a little too hopeful and a little too dreamy and a little too, I can do anything. Well, this is some advice from Uncle Saturn, is you can do anything, but you can't do everything. So you need to focus. You need to know who's really caring about you, who really is by your side, who you can really have a give and take with, who doesn't want you to die, right? You should have at least a couple people in your life that don't want you to die. Those are your friends. So that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, it's that tough love Saturn thing. It's still love. We have to remember this because Saturn is a bad bitch when the going gets tough. Well, at least you know. It can also bring the biggest rewards, right? That's what I've learned so far from you. Now, Uranus, Uranus, are you still with us, darling? All right,
No
sweet.
technology. I got cut off.
Oh,
You never know. You just never know.
you just never know. Oh, good point. Uranus, have you prepared us enough for Taurus after your transit through Aries from Kawakea?
I'm not really a planet that likes to prepare people. It's not really my thing. I want to surprise you. I want to break down any concept of reality you think you have. Because it's amazing how you people think that how things are today is how they're always going to be and how they should always be. We build these notions, these ideas of what the truth is. I remember when we said cigarettes were good for you. My grandmother kept a pack of them on her toilet because it helped her have movements. I remember when there was not even calculators, in a time when we used typewriters, and we thought, that's how we're going to communicate. If you went back into a person 100 years ago and you told them that you can get in a car, go to a train station, take that train to an airport, get in a plane, fly to another country, get in another car, another train, and be settled within a few hours, they wouldn't believe you. They'd think, oh, it's the future. Uranus, Aquarius is always misunderstood. No one can follow the logic of me because it's illogical. It's pure genius. It's advanced. It's in the future. So I've tried to prepare, maybe a little bit, but no one can hear me because the brain is too limited at this point. And sometimes a good trauma shocks us into opening our neurons, our pathways in the brain to perceive new. So, have I been preparing you enough? No, it's not my job. Might be more like Saturn's job, maybe a little Mars, I don't know, but I'm just gonna shock you. So just be prepared to be shocked. Stay in your heart. If you want to deal with me, look to my sun, look to the sun, who is my opposite. The sun, which is of the heart, which never gets disconnected, not with an earthquake, not with a natural disaster or a breaking of the internet or a financial system. In fact, the heart grows after trauma. Have you noticed that? You connect more to those you love. So using the heart is the way. That's what I'll say.
I never knew you were such a romantic, but it's okay, sweetheart. I think it's a fabulous message. Thank you very much. It's always a little exciting to be with you. You get me all zinned up. Yes, it's like, woohoo, yeah, even me, the gloomy party pooper, only to be challenged by Saturn. All right, we also have a question from this to Jupiter in Scorpio. Now, Jupiter, are you there? Jupiter. Oh, well, I guess he went into the underworld and forget to come back. Now, we have a question there's a question from me. All right, Pluto, what are you going to do when you meet your South Node? I haven't thought about that yet. I'm still trying to cook up some real nasty shit. No, I'm just kidding. I'm quite happy about meeting my own South Node. For those who are familiar with the planetary nodes, that it will be during 2018 that I will cross into this particular area. I'm not very date oriented. We're in this wave already. Between 18 and 21 degrees, there's a lot of stuff going down this year. And that's where I'm going to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth because I'm really patient, I'm really patient. And it's a little boring far, far out there in the icy colds. So I like to go back and forth on things, chew on them, obsess a little bit around them, and just to make sure that you'll get it. So I thought for this particular time, I know for certain that there's going to be an opening of a gate, that the influence that I have, even though I'm demoted, will magnify. I will have a bigger impact. We will all notice it much more because I walk among you. And it doesn't mean necessarily that there will be more death and catastrophes. No, there will be more potential for healing and transformation. Politically, now that's another story. It's going to be a little disruptive. We know that. And I will just give you a little secret, my friends. You remember World War II? Yes, back in the days when we had to have everything in our faces before we realized things. Now, the general level of consciousness, I love evolutionary astrology. Everything with evolution in it, I love. Now, the general level of consciousness on planet Earth, the recent studies from our planetary galactic brotherhood shows that the level of awareness is on the rise. More and more people are becoming aware of their shit, their projections, their inner life. That's good news for world wars. It makes world wars difficult to manifest. It makes it difficult to manifest. Now that's good news because we're all petrified for this incredible Armageddon scenario that's been painted on every wall since the cave times. So we're afraid, yes, we are biting nails, stocking up for some bad days. But the truth is, I don't think there's going to be another war. I don't think so. It's going to be small conflicts, but not like the grand scenarios. But there will be, with me on the South Node, some interesting planetaries, like a chess game. Like there will be some movements. There will be some changes. There are these power blocks that are fighting for the last word. And this problem still exists on Earth. So we need to deal with that. Now, enough serious political talk, even though that's one of my favorites. I will now go to Jupiter, aka Santa Claus. Okay. Jupiter, ready? What Scorpio gifts are possibly arriving to the 9th house? In other words, if I have a Jupiter transit in my 9th house, what gifts will emerge? From Carol Saviano.
Oh, yes, indeed. Scorpio in the 9th house, Jupiter moving through the 9th house, is the death of limiting core beliefs and the birth of more powerful, profound, deep truths regarding the existence of the natural laws governing all humanity. Indeed, this is the time. Jupiter, I am at home in the 9th house, and I return to my home with great power to reveal the new mysteries. And understand this, one and all, no matter where, what house I fall upon or pass through for you in this coming year. There will be many big gains and many big losses.
Oh, well. I guess that was Uranus again, trying to
There
break.
I go.
There
Shocking.
you go. It's always you. It's always you. It's no problem.
Follow the rules.
He's back. Okay. Shh. We can make a song out of this. Ooh. Oh. You need to try.
That which is in.
Oh. Well, they need better Wi-Fi in the jungle, that's for sure. All right, let's see if we can find another question.
I have a question.
You have a question.
Or maybe it's more of a proposal. So mine is for Uranus over there. Now, Uranus and I tangled a little bit. This past year, we had a trine in fire signs, and I got a little swept away with the whole Brexit and the whole making a better world and a newer world and all this. But I've got news for everyone. Next year, Uranus, we're going to be trining in Earth signs. So all that excitement and all that gonna do this and want this type of world and blah, blah, blah. Well, you better be ready for the rubber to hit the road. So I'll play with you. I'll tango with you once again, but we need to make some real, you know what, happen. Now, can I get your agreement on that?
No, I'm Uranus. I do what I want. What I will say is, I think we will strengthen one another. I think if we're smart and wise about what we're doing, we can actually build a ship that will take us to the stars and back. But I can't make any promises with anybody. That's not how I do. Why get attached when everything could change at any particular moment? But I will say, we're going to have a better conversation. We're going to hopefully use this strength to build. Like Chiron talked about, we can be victims till the cows come home, or we can get our hands in the mud and build something. You know what I mean?
Well, as much as I absolutely hate compromise and I absolutely want a commitment from everything, you know, there's a part of me that has this Aquarian side. That means we're basically brothers from another mother. And I don't know, I get seduced by that crazy, wacky Uranus over there. Don't tell him.
Remember, you did cut my balls off.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Don't ever forget that.
Never forget it. You damn well better never forget that. There's nothing else for me to cut off. Maybe your head.
Oh, here we go with the old feuds. All right, sweethearts, we have some more questions. Now, this one I'm tempted to actually answer myself because, well, it's for me. So, and it's very important because, as you noticed, I'm going through Capricorn, and Capricorn is the sign of emotional maturation. Saturn was so gentle to remind us of this tough love that is Capricorn, and he should know. Now, Pluto, you have been dancing on my moon in Capricorn. Now that you are pulling away, how can I reflect on this transit opposite my Saturn in mutual reception in Cancer? Now, that's the whole thing. You know, there was this question about the South Node earlier. That's it. It's all these emotional conditionings that we've gone through during our time here on Earth. All the guilt shit, all the guilt tripping, all the phony duties and everything you guys decided is the right thing to do. Now it's time to change that. So definitely this transits for Laura Lee, I'm sorry, sweethearts, Laura Lee, will definitely bring in a lot of emotional maturations. Now, if Laura Lee was unaware of her emotional needs before this transit, I think she will be super aware of her needs after the transit. And so we will all be very aware of who we are, what we are, and what we're worth, and how much dignity we actually have. So that's a good thing. Any questions for ourselves, sweethearts? Anything you want to add? Anything? No?
I just want to make a quick comment.
Yeah, you have a comment, Uranus? Bring it on. Time is running out. We have stuff to do. We can't sit here all day.
Well, I know that. But sometimes when you get mud on your face and you start to peel it off, you get new skin. Just a little tip from Uranus.
Ways of using mud as skin therapy when you go into Taurus, right? That's what you're saying. I'm sure we can learn something from that too. Now, it's been a wonderful haunted house experience with you guys. I hope we can cooperate in the future, even though I might be the difficult one. Now, is there anything else before we do the monster mash?
Coming into the power of our souls. Don't be afraid of your own soul's power.
Amen to that.
And an apple a day keeps the doctor away.
Exactly. With discipline. Every day, the same apple. Love it.
The same apple every day? That sounds like something I would eat. Now let's see if Master Jupiter here can do the monster mash for us with this incredibly up-to-date Wi-Fi jungle. Yeah.
It's the monster mash.
Get down. It's a surreal version of Monster Mash.
It's a graveyard bash.
Dang it, Chiron.
Take out your trash. Take out some cash. Graveyard bash.
Oh, I think we're conjuring some spirits here with this thing.
It's a smash.
Or mash. I know that word.
It's a potato mash.
I blame Uranus.
I blame you.
You should blame me. I like to mess plans up.
Well, I personally love Saturn and Uranus, so you're both fine with me. And Pluto, too. I mean, we all get along.
At the end of the day, we all do get along, don't we?
Well, thank you, everyone. It's been a pleasure to have you here on this late night, well, at some places late night show, other places early night show. You never know with this planet. Time zones, time zones. It's been wonderful. I hope you were scared and inspired because it is, after all, Halloween. So for now, I guess it's time to bid you all farewell. Yeah.
Namaste, aloha, so much love.
So much love.
And a little spanking.
Oh yeah, I love you some spanking.
Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye. See you next year, maybe. If not, I don't see you next year. So good love and light. Ciao. I wish you the very best.
I'm about to get dirty. Dirty. I'm gonna get into the earth and start breaking some shit.
Graveyard bash.
Oh. You need to try.